Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. As you can probably tell from the shared screen, we are going to be going through the PSL 2021 replacement draft, and I have with me Asjad from Cricket for Us 2.0. Asjad, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Very glad that the PSL is going to start in a month and a bit, and very happy about the fact that they did have a replacement draft to kind of bring in some players, because there are a lot of players who obviously can't come back due to the pandemic and stuff. So yeah, very excited to be here and to discuss this in particular.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ins and outs, I guess, for all the teams, and some really exciting players coming in and out. So I guess we can start with your favourite and home team, Islamabad United, the ones who I know you were probably looking at the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
And actually, before we go into it, it's probably worth refreshing people's memories about the table as well. So for anyone that doesn't know, we've got six teams, sorry, even. And Lahore, Islamabad, Peshawar, and Karachi are all on 6 points. Multan Sultans and Quetta both on 2. However, Islamabad and Lahore both have games in hand or matches in hand. So I guess you can say they're slightly in front of Peshawar and Karachi as well. So let's go straight into Islamabad United then. So Alex Hales, Lewis Gregory, and Phil Salt. So 3 Englishmen coming out for an Aussie and a South African player in Usman Khawaja and Yanman Malan. What are your thoughts?
I'm happy. Yes, of course, Alex Hales is a huge miss. We know about Phil Salt. We know about Lewis Gregory's that one match that he kind of won Islamabad the entire game. But Usman Khawaja is a very good batsman. He doesn't get the accolades that I think he should, especially for T20 cricket. But up till 2018, 2017, 18, he was considered an amazing T20 player as well. But he's just gone down with age and everything. I think that's a very good inclusion. And Yanman Malan, both of us are really big fans of his. We saw him in the ODI series against Pakistan and the T20s. And he can just time the ball so well. And he's got that strength about him, right? So I'm actually really happy. Yes, we can't have the best 3 picks, but we've got 2 replacements who can do the trick. Usman Khawaja can open up, and then Yanman Malan can come in, probably can come one down. I think Colin Munro is also back, isn't he, for Islamabad United? So the top 4 or top 3, top 4 for them can be brilliant if their top of order does fire the way that, as an Islamabad United fan, I would like them to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got Paul Sterling as well. So Paul Sterling, Colin Munro, Usman Khawaja, and Yanman Malan. So that's a pretty good team. Although I think that's 4 international players, isn't it? That's
yes.
4 though,
yeah. Overseas,
Yeah, so that's 4. Yanman Malan though is a very, very good striker of the ball, as you said, and we've seen him recently against Pakistan. For people that would have watched that T20 series against Pakistan, and he just looks like a very talented player. I think it's interesting. I reckon he's also using this as a trial for himself and to show South Africa that, look, I can play against spin, because there's this whole, I guess, there's definitely this thought in the South African camp that he can't play spin super well, especially left arm spin or spin away from him. So leggies as well, which I'm sure he'll face a lot of in the PSL. So in South Africa, I think it's a bit easy to play spin, but he's probably thinking, well, the conditions are going to be relatively similar to India. Yes, we know that they still are quite different, but similar-ish anyway. And he'll use it as an excuse to say, well, look, if I score runs here, then you better be picking me for South Africa. So that's good for him and his progression. And as you said, Khawaja is just very experienced and coming home to Islamabad, where he was born, I think, as well. So that's all good. I'm sure really exciting. And, well, I'm sure he'll really enjoy it there. Let's go on to Lahore then. So my team, Lahore Qalanders. So Rashid Khan, David Weiss, Joe Denley, Tom Abel, and Simon Patel will come out. So 3 Englishmen, kind of, I guess, county standard players, you'd say. Joe Denley has played, and so has Simon Patel, international cricket, but they're at the back end of their careers. And David Weiss is what you would, I guess, call a franchise campaigner nowadays. David Weiss, who also does play some county cricket as well. And Rashid Khan, we know, probably one of the best T20 players around. So that's a big, big loss. But in saying that, I reckon overall, from the 5 players that have come out and the 5 players that have come in, I reckon the 5 players coming in are probably slightly better overall. I would argue. Shakib Al Hassan, Asha doesn't agree with me. Shakib Al Hassan, James Faulkner, Joe Burns, Callum Ferguson, and Sikaj Prasanna. What do you think, Asha?
Right. My first thought is, I don't agree with you, but let's not go down that rabbit hole, okay? All I'm going to say is Rashid Khan is the biggest miss Lahore is going to have, okay? Rashid Khan not being there, fair enough, but David Visa and Samit Patel have been staples for Lahore Qalanders, genuinely won them games over the past couple of PSLs, okay? Proper, like, not just, they did one part of their repertoire correct, right? They've actually fielded well, bowled well, batted well, right? Some of the catches, some of the shots that David Weiss has had, right, in the PSL, he's genuinely won them matches and gotten them to stages where it's like, maybe Lahore can win this season, but they don't. So with regards to, Shakib Al Hassan, he's amazing, but he's not in the best of form, especially after coming back from, that year out. Now, even in the IPL, he hasn't been utilized correctly, personally. So I think maybe here he will be able to bat at let's say, number 3. And that would be good for Lahore Qalandars. They don't have a proper number 3. They've always tried to, maybe Ben Dunk goes up. Maybe when Chris Lynn was there, Chris Lynn would go up. Mohammad Hafiz sometimes goes at 3. So I think that'll be a very good position.
Was at 3, wasn't
he? Joe Denley this season, yeah. So I think Shakib Al Hassan would fit in there very, very well. James Faulkner, didn't know he was still playing T20 cricket, but he was amazing when I was watching him. A left-arm pacer, and he can tonk the ball later in the death overs as well. So very excited about both of those inclusions. Surprised about Joe Burns, though. What is Joe Burns doing here? I'm going to ask you, Fazan. Right, Callum Ferguson, he's a very talented batsman as well. But I don't see Burns and Ferguson both playing in this lineup. There'll be one or the other. And then Prasanna, I believe he's a spinner, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, he's very talented from Sri Lanka. So yeah, my thoughts are, it's not, I wouldn't say they're better picks, just more international experience. I think that's relevant in here, and they bring a lot of international experience with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think more perceived international experience, I guess,
yes,
as you're saying. So yeah, Prasanna is actually an all-rounder leg break bowler who can also bat a little bit as well. So I think vaguely remember seeing him. He's not a regular fixture though in the Sri Lankan side, from what I know, especially with Hasaranga, my boy, in there. Why has he not got picked? But anyways, we should have picked him. He was fantastic.
Okay, Bangladesh series, I think that's why.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, yeah. So for Lahore, my quick 2 pence on it, or 2 rupees, if you want to say, although 2 rupees doesn't exist. Shakib Al Hassan, James Faulkner, Joe Burns, Cam Ferguson, Prasanna. So I think it's interesting. Shakib Al Hassan, I'm a massive fan of him. He's quality. So as you said, hopefully we utilize him in the correct way. And if we do, then that will be huge for us. James Faulkner has good variations, good slow balls. Yes, he was very good back in the day for Australia. I think he still plays Big Bash. That's why. Maybe he had a decent Big Bash. Joe Burns as well, and Callum Ferguson. I'm assuming that's why. And Prasanna with the leggies, I guess, to replace Rashid Khan. Although you can't really replace Rashid Khan, let's be honest. So, yeah, it'll be interesting for Lahore. I think maybe, as you said, the fact that we've had staples in there is a bit of an issue because, when you have people that have been there for a few years, you create this core of players, so that could affect us, but let's see. Okay, on to Peshawar then. Peshawar's on me, so I mean, they've got hit pretty hard, I reckon, here.
Yeah, they have.
Najib is out, Liam Livingston out, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Ravi Papara, and Saqib Mahmood are all out, which is, those are some big omissions.
So 3 names there who performed well in PSL 2021 for these guys. Kohler-Cadmore, Bopara, and Saqib Mahmood for sure. All 3 of them were absolute key for them winning the matches that they have. So huge hit.
Yeah, and Fabian Allen, Rovman Powell, and Fido Edwards. So the trio of West Indian players coming in, which is really interesting. Although it's worth noting that David Miller will also be available for all their games going forward. So that's, I guess you can put that as an inclusion because he was going to be excluded. Asjad, what are your thoughts?
I didn't know about the David Miller point, so I'm kind of excited. Fabian Allen, dude, this guy, not just with the ball and the bat, right? Yes, he can smash it at the end. He's a very useful left arm off spinner as well. So I'm very happy that they've got this player kind of within Peshawar Zalmi. I don't think he is of the caliber of Mujibur Rahman with the ball, but what he brings with the field and with the bat kind of makes up for it, in my opinion, at least. Okay, so very excited to see Fabian Allen there. I just want Fabian Allen to be used better as well. Again, I'm referencing IPL because it's going on right now, but I don't think he's been utilized the best way when he has played. So maybe Pakistan not Pakistan, Peshawar Zalmi in the PSL will use him a lot better, bat him higher up, and use him as a proper finisher. Rahman Powell, we've seen what he can do. He has gears, okay? He has gears where he can be slow, then he can just explode at the death. Played in the T10, played against Sri Lanka as well, so he's very, very talented. I really enjoy his batting in the Super 50 recently as well. And Fidel Edwards, everyone knows Fidel Edwards, the original Malinga, as I used to call him, right? But he's still good. I don't know if you saw him in the Caribbean, like not the CPL, but the Super 50 tournament. He came back with a bang. And I was like,
he played against Sri Lanka after that. He got picked against Sri Lanka.
He did. He's still bowling pretty damn well. So I'm happy. I think from Peshawar's standpoint, it's not like for like, but I think losing Saqib Mahmood, it's good that they can get someone with the tenure and the experience that Fidel Edwards has and got them in the side. So yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic about the Edwards inclusion for sure.
Yeah, Fidel Edwards is a blast from the past, as you'd say. But yeah, he got included. He was playing the T20s against Sri Lanka, so that would be cool. That'll be cool to see him back. The original Malinga is quite funny, actually, that you said that. It's funny, actually, probably is, to be fair. Okay, on to Karachi then. Colin Ingram, Mohammad Nabi, Dan Christian, Joe Clark, all out. Again, that's some big names excluded there. And I know that they've got, so Martin Guptill's coming in, Najibullah Zadran, Tisara Pereira, and Lytton Das. Now, I'm really I just don't rate Tisara Pereira whatsoever. So he might do pretty well on the pitches in Pakistan, though, because they might stop a little bit. It might be a bit dusty with the off-cutters, etc. Lytton Das is a good up and coming Bangladesh player, although I'm pretty sure he's in his mid-20s now, so maybe I can just say he's a good player. And Martin Guptill, we know how good he is. Najibullah Zadran's exciting. If I'm not mistaken, he's a top-order batsman who's quite explosive. I could be wrong. No, Najibullah, he's the all-rounder, isn't he? Yeah, of course. So he was pretty good for Afghanistan. I remember in the World Cup, and he was batting way too low, and they realised and then moved him up. So he's a decent player as well. But, I mean, I don't know. I look at that and I think they've probably lost a little bit there. What do you think?
Definitely. Players like Joe Clark. Was Joe Clark keeping for them for Karachi Kings? So they're going to have to use Chadwick. Yeah, they'll be using Chadwick Walton then, I assume, as their keeper. Or maybe, I can't remember if Zishan Ashraf actually moved to Karachi. Well, I can check that out later. But basically, they'll have to bring in a different wicketkeeper from the rest of the season. So that's going to be a slight change in their plans because Walton wasn't used in PSL 2021.
I think Lytton Das can keep. I could be wrong, but I think Lytton
you might be
Das
right. If he can keep, fair point. I don't remember him keeping. However, if he can keep, that's good enough. I actually don't. I agree with you about Tisara Pereira, but he will be very useful on pitches in Pakistan. Slow, low pitches, okay? Flat tracks, he can bash the ball, okay? And with the ball, he can use his variations. He's I'm sorry for comparisons, right? But he's literally Angelo Matthews, but a slightly lower class Angelo Matthews.
He's a B-Tech version. He's a B-Tech version of Angelo Matthews.
Thank you, Fazan. Right. Najibullah Zadran, couldn't have put him better myself. He could probably be the difference in the Lahore Qalanders and Karachi Kings. Lahore Qalanders have lost David Visa, and Zadran can do the exact same role for Karachi Kings with the ball and with the bat. With Martin Guptill, he only got back into form after the third or fourth T20 against Australia. So if that form is continuing, who cares if they don't have Colin Ingram, Mohammad Nabi, Dan Christian, or Joe Clark? Martin Guptill can score 100 in like 45 balls, okay? Or 50 balls. So he's an absolute beast. I'm so happy that the PSL has a Kiwi in there, right? A proper Kiwi international player, and he's coming in and in replacement of, Colin Ingram, who is still a brilliant player. I know Colin Monroe is also a Kiwi, but he's actually played before. But Martin Guptill hasn't played in the PSL. ever, if I'm not wrong. He hasn't played in the IPL for the last couple of years either. So this will be a good inclusion, and hopefully he can fire off for Karachi fans.
Yeah, he's quality. I'm surprised he didn't get picked up in the IPL, to be fair, as well. He's just been so good for a number of years. So that was a big marquee name that I saw on the list. I thought that is a big boy pick. There's, of course, another big boy pick coming up, but before we get to him, let's move on to Multan Sultan. So down to the two teams that are really struggling at the moment from this campaign so far. Multan, Chris Lynn, James Vince, Adam Life, and Carlos Brathwaite all come out. And then comes Mahmudullah, Ramanullah Gurbaz, George Linden, Obed McCoy. I'm going to be pretty controversial and say this might be a slightly better pick, although I'm trying to think out Multan Sultan's batting. I think they're going to be a bit light there, but bowling-wise, it won't be all right. Ramanullah Gurbaz is a very exciting young player, teenage player for Afghanistan. He's a bit gung-ho, so he's a bit unrefined, but he's very, very talented. Mahmudullah, we know he's really good. George Lind, very good inclusion, like all-rounder. I think he'll do pretty well on these tracks as well as a spinner, and he can whack. Like he got promoted up the order in a couple of matches for South Africa against Pakistan. He did really well. And Obed McCoy, left arm option. So that'll be interesting to see how he does as well. What's your thoughts?
Actually, do you know what? I would kind of agree with you here because Carlos Brathwaite with the ball isn't as useful. Yes, he can take wickets. He does get that extra bounce, but he's not as useful as someone like Obed McCoy can be. Dude, yes, he's a left-arm fast bowler, but he bowls a lot quicker than you'd expect as well. He has the variation. There's talks about actually including him as well as Sheldon Cottrell for the World Cup later this year because of how good he's done in the Super 50, because of how well he actually performed against Sri Lanka as well in the T20s. So on top of that, the dude can smash. I don't know if you remember that game. Came in and scored, like 40 runs of like 12, 15, 16 balls. Can't remember the exact score, but it was a lot of runs in not too many balls. It was fantastic to see. So Obed McCoy is a great choice. George Linde, we know what he does with Pakistani players, right? Bowlers or batsmen. So he's very useful. I'm actually surprised. Chris Lynn, James Vince, and Adam Lyth are such big hitters, right? That I remember saying that Multan Sultans will have the best batting lineup because they'll be explosive, but they might not fire. But they've kind of brought in players who not just, as you said, gung-ho. The only gung-ho player out of these is probably Gurbaz and Obed McCoy. George Linde can actually stay at the crease as well. You have Mahmudullah, who at one stage was Bangladesh's version of, Michael Hussey or Michael Bevan, right? He'd come in a situation where there were 4 down and he had to bat with the tail or bat with Shakib al-Hasan and try and save the game. So great inclusions. And on top of that, I'm just so happy that Mahmudullah is getting a chance because I know initially he was about to join the squad, but whatever reasons he couldn't join the squad earlier this year. So very happy to see him in there. So yeah, I would agree with you. This is kind of a little better, even though the other players are vastly more experienced. But the young talent in there, Obed McCoy and Gurbaz, he hit that like 100 and something score in T20s, didn't he? Yeah, fantastic player, fantastic.
Yeah, he's quality. I'm really looking forward to seeing the contrast between Gurbaz and Mohammed Rizwan at the top of the order.
Yes,
because if we back together, that'd be fantastic. That's a really good combination. I think Mohammed Rizwan will probably be able to talk to him and hopefully guide him as well. So he'll be taking it along. Gurbaz will go big. I think that'll be a really good contrast for both. For both. So that'll be really cool to see. And Mahmudullah, I'm sure we'll see him maybe tweak a couple of offies as well. Maybe, who knows? For Quetta Gladiators, though, I mean, this is where the big gun comes in. Tom Banton and Dale Steyn have come out. Tom Banton, I think he was kind of in and out of the team, to be honest with you. I was surprised because I thought he was going to do a lot better than he did, although he didn't play too many games. So probably, I'm sure we'll see him back next year. And Dale Steyn, look, I mean, it's always great to see Dale Steyn in a competition, but realistically, I think he's a shadow of himself. Got a bit of tap, didn't get too many. I mean, Wahab Riaz hit him for some huge sixes when Peshawar played Quetta. Like, one went out of the stadium. Unbelievable. But anyways, in comes the big gun. Someone that apparently is third on the T20I index of influence in T20 internationals, Andre Russell. Asjad, what do you think?
Okay, I want to talk about the players who've gotten out. Good on you guys, but now the Quetta Gladiators have basically replaced him, right, with one player. So Dale Steyn, as you said, shadow of himself, right? Shadow of himself for sure. but he brings that experience. But Andre Russell does as well. Andre Russell loves purple teams. I think he's in KKR in the IPL, and now he's moving to Quetta Gladiators, who in a way are the equivalent side, right? So very excited to see him included in with Quetta. The one interesting thing is Andre Russell's bowling tactics and what he's done in the IPL is a bit different to what he used to do. He started being a proper just death bowler, and he's bowling some interesting lines. He's bowling around the wicket, way outside off, and bowling full deliveries, right? Which are a lot harder to kind of pick up and try and smash at the death. So those tactics, I'm looking at it from a Pakistani perspective. That'll be good from like Pakistani players, young Pakistani players, seeing someone who's been doing this for years upon years in so many franchises, especially IPL, CPL, etc. Right? That he's in there, and let's see how he kind of helps the opposition players in a way kind of develop. On top of that, his batting, he's had one good innings with the bat, two good innings with the bat this IPL. It's been 5-6 games already. So if his batting kind of stays in there, I think he'll be an absolute brilliant inclusion for Quetta, because let's put it this way, I'm not sure if Faf du Plessis or Chris Gayle are coming back. Okay, I don't think they are. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
So Faf du Plessis, from what I know and what I read, he'll be available for the whole tournament now. So
okay.
Chris Gayle, I don't think he's coming back from what I know, because I think Faf du Plessis was going to be a partial replacement. But Faf du Plessis, from what I've read, and I think it was an official statement, he'll be playing the whole rest of this PSL.
All right. So in that case, you've got Faf at the top, right? Then you've got a young opener, whoever they go with, okay? Then they've got Sarfraz Ahmed, Azam Khan, Andre Russell, maybe, I don't know if Ben Cutting is still going to be there. Maybe Ben Cutting, maybe Anwar Ali, right? So there's a lot of players who can just come in and smash. And if they fire, this is the one team that I can tell you can score 220 if they all fire, like 220, 230 kind of score, because they've brought in Andre Russell. Andre Russell's a beast, man. Yes, he's not been in the greatest of touches and all that stuff, but he's looking like a guy who can go back into his previous form. His bowling, like I said, I'm going to be excited to see him bowl on these types of pitches. I've seen it in India, but these pitches are slightly different. There might be some pitches that might be a little more conducive to pace bowlers. So let's see. But yeah, super inclusion. And purple all the way for Andre Russell. He just doesn't like any other colors, does he?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that is a really huge pick. How quick has he been bowling, Andre Russell?
Not too quick, though. He's bowling around 130, 134. However, he has hit 140 a couple of times, but he's got that slower delivery, right? The thing is, because he jogs in now, because of his knee injury and stuff,
he's got a niggle.
Yeah,
he's still injured, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been injured. He's like Shadab Khan, but for a lot longer, okay? He's just been injured
playing.
Of course he is. Oh, he's good, man. He's very talented, and I'll be happy to see him, man. Honestly, with the bat, with the ball. Even he's not as good in the field anymore, but who is in Pakistan, right? So it'll be good. It'll be good to see him included. So for me personally, I don't know if you're gonna ask me this, but the 3 best picks for me so far have been Andre Russell, right, Fabian Allen, and Martin Guptil, which I'm really excited about. I want to see how all 3 of them perform. Honorable mentions, Yanman Milan. Dude is so talented. Love him. Absolutely love the way he plays. And the other players, obviously, I know you're a big Shakib fan, but I want to see Shakib get into form, and then I might change my decisions. But right now, I think those are my best 3 picks. How about yours?
Interesting. I reckon my best 3 picks are Andre Russell, Martin Guptil, 100%. Yeah, I'll go with Shakib just because it's in the subcontinent as well. So I reckon he's going to do really well with the ball. And batting-wise, well, he might be okay. But yeah, Yanman Milan is really exciting. Fabian Allen, I can see why. I think he's been doing quite well in the IPL from what I know as well. So I think he's another left-arm all-rounder option like Shakib Al Hasan. But actually, as well, I think for me, in terms of I'll ask you as well, in terms of the most exciting player out of the not-so-big names, I think for me, it's actually Rahmanullah Gurbaz. I'm really excited to seeing him bat. But just because I've seen him and he's somewhere from one of the so-called minnow countries in Afghanistan as well, and he's very young, very talented, and I'm really excited to see how he bats with Mohammad Rizwan actually. So what about you in terms of a player that maybe isn't one of the big guns?
Right. So do you know what? Rahmanullah Gurbaz is so talented that I just want to see him bat with Rizwan. That camaraderie, that kind of partnership would be amazing. I'll pick a different person. I'll pick Owen McCoy. I was very impressed with him in that series against Sri Lanka that I just thought, oh, he's going to replace Sheldon Cottrell. I'm wrong. Nikhil told me, right? Michelle told me. They all told me, no way Sheldon Cottrell sits out in place. But the talent he showed with the bat as well as with the ball and how agile he is in the field, I think after Gurbaz, probably Owen McCoy is my option.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah, I think Sheldon Cottrell has got credits in the bank. But Owen McCoy, I think, will definitely be around that squad. I wouldn't be surprised. And hopefully Andre Russell's fully fit, if not for the PSL, then for the T20 World Cup, because I want to see him boil some wheels in the T20 World Cup. Thank you very much, Asjad, for coming on as always. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the PSL starting, hopefully in June. Hopefully everything gets cleared up. I know in Pakistan it's not as bad as India at the moment. I know India is horrific. So, you know, hoping everyone that is watching from India, that everything is okay with you guys, and also it settles down there in Pakistan as well, because I know it's still not fantastic there, but it, you know, it's definitely pales in comparison to what's going on in India. So hopefully both countries get better, and especially for Pakistan with the PSL coming up as well, because you don't want a situation like we've got in the IPL, which is not ideal, where everything's going on outside and there's a lot of distractions, and it just doesn't feel great, I guess, does it? From an outside point of view. Asha, anything you want to touch upon before we wrap up?
I just want to reiterate the same points you made. It's the situation is dire at the moment, and I think if cricket can give some sort of joy, can give some sort of, you know, escape from what's happening outside, then that's a good way to look at it. And yeah, I hope and pray for everyone who's, you know, in that situation right now. And last but not least, please like, share, and subscribe to Quality Shot. Dude's very busy with 3 different sports. And I'm just happy to be on, because I don't know if I'll be able to do this much of a detailed review of the PSL 2021 replacement draft. So thank you for having me, Faizan.
No problem at all. Pleasure as always. And yeah, guys, as Asha said, please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, go over to Cricket For Us 2.0 and do the same result, which I'm sure you've already done. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. See you guys on the next video as well. And yes, if you are just tuning in for the PSL, then see you in June. Thank you very much.
Yep.